Cosmic here, and welcome back to our weekly Shadowverse Evolve video. This week, we're going to have a match between Dirt Rune and Dragon, once again piloted by the wonderful Aspira from Aspira TCG. He has a ton of Shadowverse Evolve content on his channel as well, so go check it out. He's going to be our normal recording partner for a while here, but I am super excited because as someone who, you know, looking at the tier list, put all the videos together, and have been making some changes to the build, a lot of people kind of just threw dirt, well, to the dirt and just kind of ignored it. But I've been having a lot of fun with this deck, actually. And it has like random 30 burst damage combos that you can pull off that just will kill even through Dragon or Haven's Craft healing. So I think there is going to be something to this deck. I will say as a huge disclaimer up front, the minute your opponent knows what your win condition is per match and they accurately play around it or know how to assess the threats, the deck does get significantly weaker. So I do think it's a really cool surprise gotcha style of deck that you can play. Ultimately, I think long-term, like this does get a huge buff in set 2 that makes it a very, you know, actually higher tier competitive deck, and it has won quite a few events they had over there and has done quite well. I shouldn't say won, but at least topped, right? So Dirt Rune does get better in set 2, but it then kind of just falls off completely as we get other stuff for the Runecraft class. And, you know, D-Shift just being a very, very strong card at what it wants to be doing, which we have other videos coming up for. We've played in other gameplay videos on my channel or Spiri's channel, so definitely keep that in mind. But this is a fun one. So right up front, I do want to talk about some of the changes or kind of the interesting picks I'm not going to go in finer details with, but one of Mithril Golem, just because we wanted a little bit more AoE damage. The Insights over Bellringer, just because we wanted a few more spell cards that we could find off Merlin if we just really needed to help hit Spell Chain 5 off Mithril Golem to deal 5 instead of 3, which can be significant. Also, just getting to play it for free if we just really need a card draw, right? So every Insight is kind of like 2 Insights because you have the Merlin. And then Executions, just because we are in a very heavy Dragon format. We have a lot of great things against Sword and Abyss, and Dragon can be pretty rough, as you're going to find out. So having things like Execution, where you can then kill that big ward target that's maybe getting in your way to swing through some damage, can really help you get those last couple points in. And then Path to Purgatory, it's just a really good card right now. I like it a 2 of in any of my slower decks, period. I think it like 2 is most. I think some people have like tried 3, which is way too many in my opinion. And 1, you just don't see it enough. So I do think 2 is the right number going forward. And it just helps you. A lot of times your opponent might leave you at 9, right? And you can surprise them with the path, go down to 6, draw your 3 cards and board wipe them while having some ward generation as well. So with that, let's get into the deck itself. And the 2 main spenders, or maybe the 2 key followers that you're going to use to clear the game. So we have the Arch Summoner Erasmus, and we have Ancient Alchemist. And at least the Arch Summoner, right, he is a big, big body, a 6/8 that commands an execution from your opponent's hand if they have it, or something with Bane. When he comes into play, you get to Earthrate, which means you get to sacrifice one of your stacks. Selected enemy on the follower on the field deals 6 damage to it and 2 to its leader. So in most situations, the way that you're going to be able to set this up is on turn 7, you're going to play a big old fat 6/8 body, kill 2 things, deal 4 damage to your opponent, and you go, hey, you figure out how to deal with this guy, because if you just let him sit there, he is going to dome you for 6. And that's 10 damage represented in a single card. Yes, it does require your opponent to have some followers on the field. If you're going against something like a Dimension Shift, they are going to be very light on it, where maybe they've already crashed them into your ward followers anyways. So you have to be very mindful of that, but he is very, very strong. And then the key way that you're going to end up just killing Dragon a lot of times is Ancient Alchemist, and the evolved side of it in particular. So it does help put out 2 guard form golems into your EX area, so you do have golems to play. While it's on your field, your golem followers cost 1 less, which is really important, because if you have 2, then then they're free, right? And then whenever a golem follower is put onto your field, select enemy leader or enemy follower. Spoiler, you're always going face with this, and deal it 3 damage. So there is a world where you have to line it up perfectly with your stack. You want to make sure the second Ancient Alchemist clears that stack, so you have 3 spots on your board, which then, because you have double Ancient Alchemist, right, because you're going to have all the ward tokens, effectively what you can set up is a board that's going to have 2 Ancient Alchemists and 3 ward golems, which are now dealing 6 damage per card that you play. So that is 18 damage off a single turn that can just snipe your opponent out of nowhere. Now, yes, the downside is this does require 2 turns to set up because you have to play the first Ancient Alchemist and Evo it, and then you have to play the second one the next turn, right? You can only Evo once per turn. Plus, it costs a lot to Evo these. The good thing is they have 6 health, so they are actually quite difficult to remove. Yes, again, if you're going against Dragon, you have to make sure you set up a ward or something beforehand so they don't just Dragon and kill it, right? With the Bane, Assail and Bane is very good against this. But if you can protect it, if you can get this off, you're going to have 3 ward golems on the board, which is going to be very difficult for your opponent to attack through unless they have an AoE effect. And then spoiler, if they try to attack you, you are going to just have more room to play more golems, and you can play golem protection and then deal another 12 damage. That's actually how I won against a couple Dragon games that I've played so far. It's just straight up 30 damage in 2 turns if they're not respecting this or don't have the execution. So in a best of 1, this is definitely the style of deck that says, haha, you can get there by just kind of cheesing out some of those damage points by the Ancient Alchemist. But if this was like a best of 3 setting, it definitely starts to fall off a little bit. Again, it's a surprise factor and making sure that you can line this up when you need to. But again, against Sword and Abyss, because you can start to the ground so low, you are able to stem the bleeding very, very early. So how do we get there? What are the enablers of the deck, right? So we have Teachings of Creation, stack, Fanfare, draw a card. It's a 1-drop. You always want to see it. It's going to get your stacks going, draws you a card. Couldn't say anything more about it, right? It's just great. Crafty Warlock, which is a 3-drop in the deck with last word. You get to summon a magic sediment and then add a stack onto your field. So this is just great for ramping up your stacks in case you have to have a very heavy Earthright turn coming up. And again, he's a 3/3, so that does help clear some stuff early on as well. And then, of course, the truest MVP is Juno's Secret Laboratory. It is just your value engine turn after turn after turn. It's not nearly as good as Holy Sentinel, but it does have flexibility for you as kind of the trade-off, which can be really, really helpful, especially just being able to spam out a couple extra magic sediments so you can keep those stack counts going. So very much a key card. Only 1 or 2 of because it's really bad multiples, but you do need to see it. And then some of the other spenders that we have in the deck, right? So we're building up the stacks other than the first 2 cards we talked about. How are we spending them, right? So the first one is Runic Guardian, which is insane against Sword and Abyss. If they don't have the Bane or some kind of kill target, this becomes a 4/6 with ward on turn 3. That is just a straight up brick wall in a lot of cases. Or in a pinch, it does have the ability to summon a magic sediment so you can still get your stacks going. So yes, this card is the absolute staplest of staples you could ask for in this deck because it gives you the stack generation as well as a huge ward body. And then the other one is Golem Protection, which I'm a real fan of just because of a more aggro heavy focused meta. Summon 2 guard form golem tokens. Again, those are the ones with ward, as it says on the card. And then Earthright. Give each of your golem followers on your field +1/+1. So very important to note, this is all golems, which even Mithril Golem, right? He has it in the name, but to be fair, there's a lot more golems in this deck that you might think. So you can actually have a nice +1/+1 across the board, which really helps. Again, like having a 3/4 for your guard form golems is really, really good early on. So another card that, especially as a more, aggro focused meta, this is definitely what I would call one of the flex picks, depending on how your meta is set up, if they're definitely more low to the ground. But I think for just how good it is on getting stats on board, I do really like this card. And then the one card I want to talk about, because I'm sure somebody's going to say it if I don't, Price of Magic. So it is a amulet. It's going to stack force, select a enemy follower with 4 defense or less on the field, and banish it. Most importantly, gets around last word. I do like this card if we have a slower mid-range or control style of meta. But a lot of times you're going to have this 3-cost played if there are like on Sword and they just have a go wide setup. Yes, you're going to be able to sometimes hit the floral fence or things of that nature, but then they're just going to have more and more coming back off of it. So it is a very strong removal. It does hit a lot, but in certain matchups where they're going wide enough, a 3-cost to remove one thing is not where you want to be. I do like that it gives stacks. So if in a perfect world, if I had perfect knowledge of what my opponents were going to be playing, I might tinker around with this a little bit more and maybe fit like a 1 or a 2 of in the deck, just because if we had a sideboard or something, obviously it would just be an auto staple at that point too, but we don't. So it is just something to consider on what your local meta is shaping up to be. So with that, it is our Dirt Rune list. And again, we are going to be playing against Dragon. And then full disclaimer, the game that we're not going to show against Aspira is that he did just triple Forte us out of nowhere. And that's Dragon doing Dragon things in set 1, right? Like, that is the heartbreak of it, that, I think Dragons is still overall the absolute best deck for set 1 and also is very good in set 2. But set 2, I think, at least rounds out the format a lot better than just Dragon and Sword right now. But if you are looking for something that gives you a little bit of a break from Dimensional Shift and maybe your local metas is shifting, right? The other big reason to play this is where Dimensional Shift is really good against more mid-range and control style of games that want to go late anyways. They are very weak against aggro decks, where Dirt Rune, by comparison, has a very, very strong early game plan that can stem off Sword and Abyss, but can just fall straight flat to Dragon depending on the build. So definitely take that with a grain of salt on how you're going to build those decks going forward. So with that, let's get into the games and showcase just what Dirt can do against Dragon.
We will draw for turn, and then we will also pass.
2. Turn late, but I could draw into a 1-drop, so Insight to draw a card. We did not draw into it. Pass.
2, draw, and I will also pass.
Going to 3, draw. Just play this guy and do it for the Magic Sediment this time. Pass.
We'll double blazing to kill it.
Oh, sure. Not allowed to have nice things.
Yep, go up to 3, and that'll be a pass.
Right, up to 4.
Hope I shuffled my deck.
It's anyone's guess at this point. I don't like this, but that's also like a straight discard always. Yeah, we just have to path early, I guess.
Yep, got the card.
2, 3. Yep, didn't draw anything relevant, so we are just going to discard a snipe, I guess.
Sure.
Pass to you.
4s. Draw. Spend the 4, go into Dragon Guard, and the turn ward up.
Yep. Draw. At 5. So he's a 4/5, right?
He is a 4/5, yeah.
Uh, 2 for an Alchemist Workshop, and I want to keep the pretty card on board, so I'm going to sacrifice this one.
Mm-hmm.
Get a Strike Boy. That's 2. I do really need to just preserve my life total, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I'm going to smack into it and then Fire Chain to kill your guy.
Yep.
Back to you.
5s. Draw. Well, we're feeling pretty okay right now, PBH. So we'll go ahead and just spend the 5, go into Shenlong, Fanfare, draw 2. And our pitched one will be Ayla. Kind of too late for you right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that'll be your go. Share those four.
Ward it up. Got it. 3 for Ancient Alchemist. Earthright, which gets me 2 guarded golems to my EX. And then we are going to Evo it. And I will pass there.
Alright, so he's a 3/6. Does he do anything special?
3/6. My golems cost 1 less, and whenever a golem comes into play, I get to choose 3 damage to deal to a follower or leader.
That's pretty gross. 6s. Drop a turn. We'll go ahead and swing 4 to you. 4 to face.
Yep, 13.
We'll spend 4 to execute away the 3/6.
Yep.
That's big spook.
It is very spook.
Yeah, I mean, I missed 2 to the face, but that's fine. It is what it is. We'll just spend the 2, go into Big Shan, and then call it. Go ahead.
Yep. Begin at 7. Draw. And he has 6, right?
He is a 5/6. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we just have to go big. So we're gonna use
Oh.
Merlin for his fanfare. Kill it and deal 2 damage to your face.
Yep.
So sorry, it deals 6 and then deals 2 to you. That has to use all my play points, and I will pass.
7s. Draw. Go into Shapeshifting Mage. Does get the buff up because we are in overflow, but doesn't
Yep.
really matter. We'll go ahead and spend 1. Well, we'll evolve 1. Go into evolved form, and then we'll present the trade.
Very good.
Okay. 4, go into Dragon Guard, and we'll get the 2/2. Putting it at a 6/7, and then we'll end the turn and ward up.
Yep. Go up to 8. Yep, so we are gonna do 3 for Merlin, fanfare to search any spell. Okay, I skipped it. Execution. Because Dragon's spoopy and we want just good removal.
What? Play stuff onto your board, it's fine.
And then we have to Evo, use Fire Chain from our... I guess you do have 1 up. Or you already used double Blazing Breath, for crying out loud.
I run.
Fire Chain it for 3, and then try to use Merlin for 4 damage.
Yeah, the Merlin's good.
And then I will pass, because I can't do anything with my last 1.
Up to 8s we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll play Shenlong.
Yep.
Draw 2. Wow, okay. Pitch 1. Point the pitch will be... We'll pitch Dragon Warrior. 3, 2, pass. 2, 3. Draw 3.
Yep.
3. And then we will get rid of... We'll get rid of Dragon Oracle, ward up, and that's your go.
Right, up to 9. 4 for just Golem protection, which gives me 2 guard form Golems.
Mm-hmm.
I will just ward up and pass.
Alright. Go up to 9s. Draw. Pay 3. 3. 2 Dragon Wings, dealing 3 to the board. We'll spend 2 to go into Daddy Shang. Gaining 5. 1. From that, so he's at 3 currently. Then we will attempt to swing in for 5.
Yep, I'll Fire Chain to deal 3 to it.
Yep, sounds good. And 4 up. Okay, 3 to play Denitra, which will play a dragon token.
Yep.
Then I will pay 1 for Bellringer. I will ward up, and that'll be your go.
All right, go into my turn. Draw. We're gonna pay 4 total for a Demon Flame Mage to kill both.
I'll draw a card.
Yep. And then pass there.
Pens. And draw. We'll spend 2 Dragon Oracle to draw a card.
Yep.
I'll spend 7, put onto 1 to lose her.
Yep.
Then I will pass the turn, gain 4. We will not ward.
Yep. I'm just gonna execution it as well.
That is fine. He is gone.
Go into my turn. Draw. Finally, 8 Earth stack. Swing for 4.
Go 25.
Pay 2, stack with a strike. And then I guess just one more for pay 2 and get a ward and pass there.
Back up. Draw. Pay 2, Oracle, draw card.
Yep.
Down. Long.
Yep. Holy cow. Yeah.
Draw 2, pitch 1.
Well, at least I know there's not a third one on that Evo.
That is definitely the case. We will pay 3 to Dragon Warrior. I will spend an evil point. 2, go into the guy. We'll steal 4 to 4/4.
There deals 3.
Yeah, I might actually be dumb. Yeah, it deals 3. So we'll deal 3 to your Specborn. Whichever, the one that's up, yeah. Attempt to swing into your 4/4?
Oh, board.
Oh, ward true, yeah. So we'll swing into that. Yeah.
Yep.
I will pass turn and ward up.
Yep. Go into my turn. Draw. So we are just going to crash into Shen to put 4 damage on him.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to Demon again to deal 2 to everything, which will kill both. And pay 2 for a ward and pass.
Sure, cards in hand.
5.
We will spend 5 to unflag the board, deal 5 to everything.
Yep.
Then I will pay 4, go into Forte, spend an evil point, and the last to go into Evo Forte.
Which is going to put me exactly down to 6.
And we swing in. And then that'll be your go.
Yep. Draw. Alchemist. Earthright.
Mm-hmm.
2 of these. Evo. Yep, each cost 1. Bring 2 into play to deal 6 to you total.
Go down to 19.
And then, end of my turn, pop my path.
Yeah. Go back up to 10. We'll draw for turn. Go into Zern. Get myself another dragon. We'll go ahead and pay the 2, but I'll get the 2 back to play out a dragon.
For the rush.
Yep. We'll go ahead and swing into one of the golems.
Yep. They're dead.
I'll pay 2 to play Shapeshifting Mage. Then I'll pay the 1. Does come in with a +3/+3, making him a 5/5. We'll go ahead and swing into your warder.
Yep.
Was that a 3/2 or a 2/3?
2/3.
2/3. So goes down to the 3. And then I'll just spend 4, go into the dragon, and then that'll be yours.
Yep, I'm gonna. Or I had 2 left. Hold on, I gotta actually think about this before I draw, because that might be relevant. I'm gonna deal 3 to the dragon that just came into play.
Sure. Goes down to a 5.
Draw. Okay. Dope. So for 5, I'm going to do Mithril Golem because golems cost 1 less. I do have Spell Chain 5, so it's going to deal 5 damage to your entire board, and you're going to take 3 to the face.
16.
And then I am going to pay 4 for Golem Protection, which which is gonna make 2 guard golems come into play, which is gonna deal you 6 more.
Down to 10.
And that was probably the coolest thing that I get to do, so I will pass.
You don't want to attack with your 3/6?
Not to push you to path, no. Or wait, no, it's 6, not. Yeah, I can't count. Or actually, no, I don't think I do want to, because I need to save it for the triggers. Hold on.
Up to you.
Yeah, no, because if I top deck the last fanfare, yep, swing for 3.
Go to 7.
And pass.
10. Draw. Go down to 3 to play Lucifer.
Yep.
Pay 3 for Ayla. Pass, turn, ward up, gain 4.
Yep, back up to 11.
Yep.
Draw. Not spicy. Pay for we don't get the fancy finish, I guess. Execution on Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will swing out with my board.
Yep. Down to go.
It was a bummer because I was holding on to the second Ancient Alchemist, and I wanted to do like the full combo play. I never got another Earthright though, like another. Okay, well there's the fanfare I was waiting on, because then it would have allowed for a play to do this and then just dome like 18 that way, which would have been nice. Yeah, definitely a matchup I'm expecting we're going to see a lot more of in the near future. So thank you again to Aspira for joining us for another recording session. Make sure to go check out his channel for more Shadowverse Evolve content on YouTube, Aspira TCG. And of course, we'll be doing more content together in the future. So with that, my friends, stay safe, stay hydrated, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.